Let's go green for Xbox. Where is the green? There we go. So, all in all, this Xbox Business Briefing Direct Update thing was pretty chillaxed. You know, we're sitting on designer couches. Phil Spencer's just talking about the future of Xbox. No big drama, no big deal. So, 4 Xbox games are going multi-plat. Phil Spencer declined to comment on which games, but he said it's just 4. Not Indiana Jones and not Starfield, which were kind of rumored to be a thing. Gears of War was also rumored as well. I don't think it's going to be Gears of War. I do think that we already know the games that are coming. It's Hi-Fi Rush, it's Pentiment, it's Sea of Thieves, it's Grounded. So yeah, we know the games already. He kind of already alludes to the idea that we already know what they're talking about. We're just going to wait for the teams to announce them. I'm assuming that there's like a direct right around the corner where something like Hi-Fi Rush will be revealed, or one of these other games, Grounded on Switch and things like that. I think that there are already plans in place for these reveals, and he doesn't want to spoil those for the teams, which I can respect. I do. Phil Spencer then goes on to mention, continuously reiterates throughout the entirety of this briefing, that there is no fundamental change to how Xbox is treating its exclusive titles. The next Halo game is probably going to be exclusive on PC and Xbox. The next Gears of War, I don't even know if these are games that are being made right now. Fable, right? Fable is going to be on the Xbox first. It's going to be on PC first. It's not coming to PlayStation. It's just these 4 games. Now, if Hi-Fi Rush or Pentiment blow up on PlayStation or Nintendo Switch, I think that might create a different kind of conversation around those titles. Maybe they look into digging into their backlog and putting something out. I'm not quite sure if that is a strategy going forward, but if I have to be honest, I don't really see anything wrong with this. I really don't. Look at PlayStation with Helldivers 2. Helldivers 2, one of the most successful games on Steam in a while. It's blowing up right now on Steam. Do we think that, like, are PlayStation fans mad about that? Is anyone, oh, what the hell? Why are people enjoying this on Steam? There's these huge numbers, curse these. Like, is that even a thought that's crossed people's heads? No, because it's successful, because people love it, and that's okay. I think Hi-Fi Rush deserves to be on another console because I think that game appeals to a Nintendo gamer or a PlayStation gamer more than it does an Xbox gamer. I think that action games like these, art styles like these, work better with those audiences. That's just the fact of the matter. There are more of these kinds of games on Nintendo platforms or on PlayStation platforms, so it's probably going to sell better there. Now, something that was reiterated throughout the entirety of the briefing by Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond, and Matt Booty is player entitlement. When you buy a game on your Xbox, I'm gesturing to my Xbox like it's listening to me right now. When you buy a game on your Xbox, or you're, playing a game through Xbox Game Pass like Hi-Fi Rush, you can jump over to PC, cross-save it, continue your game from there, right? I actually started playing Halo Infinite first on PC and then later got an Xbox Series X, and now I'm jumping back and forth. And I love that. I actually truly, truly love that. I think that is huge for especially multiplayer games. They don't mention if that entitlement goes further than that, though. Now, I highly doubt that the fact that I own Hi-Fi Rush on my Xbox means that I own it on a completely different ecosystem like a PlayStation. And it also seems counterintuitive. Like, why isn't this to make more money, not to make less? I mean, I guess if someone owns the Xbox version, they might want to play it on PlayStation as well. To me, like, a Switch version of Hi-Fi Rush is a little bit enticing, right? You might want to play that game at LAX. You might want to play that game on the way to school. So I wonder if they think about that, where they feel like the Switch version of these games are companions to the already established versions. Like, is that going to be something that they explore, or is it of the other mindset? Is it, hey, we're behind enemy lines right now and we're stealing customers, right? Hey, PlayStation gamers, here's our secret sauce. Here's what we've been working on. If you want more of this stuff, come over to Xbox. I just don't think that the games necessarily inspire that kind of strategy, to be real with you. Like, Hi-Fi Rush is an amazing video game. It is one of the best of last year, absolutely. I don't know if that's like a system seller, and I don't, that it never was designed to be, for sure. I think it's coming to PlayStation and Nintendo consoles because it didn't succeed very much on Xbox, because it deserves a bigger audience. Bethesda sees this, Microsoft sees this, they want this game to be more successful, they want this character to be a bigger deal, and I think that's why. I really do. I don't think Hi-Fi Rush is the customer stealing game. Maybe later down the line they can introduce that kind of strategy, but I don't think it's that. I do hope that the entitlement that they do speak of, cross-buying is probably not going to be the case, but I do hope that cross-saves work there, right? There's no reason why they shouldn't, especially with the Nintendo Switch version, being able to play something like Sea of Thieves where, hey, I don't even know what you do in that game. I stole a ship, and now I can load up my Xbox and continue stealing that ship or whatever. I think that is really cool. That's kind of crazy. Jumping between 3 different consoles and PC, all having one save. Is it necessary? Probably not. It's probably not a thing that needs to be real, but I don't see why not. So yeah, no fundamental change to how Xbox treats their exclusives, so I'm guessing it is gonna be just these 4 games. Later down the line, maybe eventually, you'll see something else popping on PlayStation or Switch or whatever. I don't think this is a huge deal. I really don't. Something that is kind of a big deal is the fact that they mentioned that they have hardware plans for this holiday season. What? Yeah, that's happening. Switch 2 ain't the only thing coming out this year. We also have some kind of new Xbox device. Now, is this going to be a Xbox Series X Slim? Is this going to be the rumored Xbox handheld that people have been kind of mentioning for a while now? There's rumors of a PlayStation handheld as well. I don't see why not. I'm not like super excited about console stopgates. I'm not super excited about a PS5 Pro or an Xbox Series X Pro. Like that I'm not super into that. I'm not a double dipper. But a handheld could be a thing, right? I mean, Steam Deck's popping off. The Switch is successful. I don't see why they shouldn't dip their toes in that water as well. They have an ecosystem that makes sense with, the cross-saving and cross-playing and things like that. If they can get these games to also work on their handheld device, yeah, I mean, that, again, it just makes sense within their ecosystem. And Xbox first-party games are still coming to Game Pass. Look, this entire briefing just kind of felt like what I was thinking 2 weeks ago, or the day that Phil Spencer announced that, yeah, we're gonna have this serious briefing on Thursday and it's gonna be a big deal. Tune in. It wasn't a big deal. This is not a big deal. Xbox fanboys and PlayStation fanboys, they're flipping out. Relax. It's just 4 games. And I almost guarantee you're gonna see other studios try this out. I mean, look at Square Enix. They've mentioned before, after the not so tremendous numbers of FF16, they said, hey, Final Fantasy probably needs to be a multi-platform game. Final Fantasy probably needs to be on Switch and on Xbox, just to make more money. These games need to be more successful. They need to sell more. We're spending so much, just exuberance amounts of money on these AAA titles where they kind of need to be everywhere in order to make that return. In order to make their money back, they have to make as much money as possible. And again, something like a Hi-Fi Rush that didn't quite make its mark. Most people just played it on Game Pass, and even then, it wasn't like a super successful game. It was, in my eyes. I think it's a fantastic video game, but I do want more people to play that game. And I do think that putting that on PlayStation gets more people interested in that IP and in that character. And if that character were to show up in another Xbox game, hey, there's their strategy right there. I mean, this is something that Sony is already doing with Helldivers 2, with the Steam releases, right? You want PC gamers excited about PlayStation. You're trying to get more customers. You're trying to get a bigger player base. You're trying to get more people to buy your next PlayStation or to buy the next Helldivers game, or hey, Helldivers DLC or a big expansion coming to PlayStation first. Shit. Now I kind of want a PlayStation because I'm loving Helldivers. Even Nintendo's kind of played around with this with their mobile onslaught of games that have come out in the last decade, right? I mean, Pokemon Go was a massive success. I almost guarantee you that's really helped Pokemon as a brand, right? It's really helped strengthen the brand and the IP of these characters. I think no Pokemon Go, no Pikachu movie, right? And by no Pikachu movie, no Mario movie, right? Because there was Mario is more popular because he's available in more places. I think that, I mean, obviously that's a stretch, right? That is absolutely a stretch, but like these things help your brand. And right now, if I'm being honest, Xbox needs all the help they can get. They need more customers. They need a bigger player base. They need more Game Pass subscribers. Like, this is clear and apparent. Xbox is in third place right now, and they need to find ways to move that needle. Is Hi-Fi Rush and Pentiment and, these games, are they going to move that needle? Probably not very much, but again, they continuously reiterate that this has kind of been our strategy all along. We've been kind of going in this direction. There's been like rumors of turmoil within Xbox. Sarah Bond arguing with Phil Spencer about what their strategy should be. I don't know about this. We should only be doing exclusives. We shouldn't be. I don't really know if any of that stuff is true. There was rumors of Starfield coming to PlayStation. That is absolutely not true. Not Indiana Jones and Starfield were actually the games that I expected most coming to PlayStation, to be honest. I think that those just have the biggest pull. I think that there are people that have a PlayStation that want to play those games, and maybe that's why they're not coming to PlayStation, right? Hey, you need to go buy an Xbox for this shit. You need to buy an Xbox for Indiana Jones and Avowed and Starfield. I mean, that kind of makes sense, right? I mean, Pentiment is a game that probably didn't make huge numbers. We know Hi-Fi Rush didn't make huge numbers. We know Grounded and these other multiplayer games like Sea of Thieves have room for growth on other platforms, have room for, a bigger player base means now more people are playing. Even if I'm only on Xbox, now I have more people to play with. They didn't talk exactly about crossplay. I have to imagine that is a part of the strat. I don't see why you would do this without that. But yeah, like just making more people play your games is a good thing. Now, they also mention next gen. They talk about you gotta remember, this is very business, corporate, shareholder focused. There's like keywords that are being used here. The mannerisms of Matt Booty and Sarah Bond and Phil Spencer feel very corporate. It feels like I'm talking to the regional managers at Panera Bread or something, but they do mention that there's new hardware coming, not the winter, refresh, not the handheld or Xbox Series X Pro or whatever, but they straight up mention the next Xbox and that it is a thing. They're going to make another Xbox. And I think that has been kind of in contention in people's minds for a little while now. Like, are they done making home consoles? Like, is this the end of Xbox? No, it's not. There's a beefy new Xbox coming out. And it's so funny because PlayStation mentioned recently in an earnings call that, hey, we're in the latter half of the PS5. Like, the PS6 is a real thing. Scient, Kojima's next game, is a PS6 game. We already have PS next-gen games already being announced, which is baffling to me. I know we're already at that point, I guess, but it's still just insane to me. It makes me feel old and tired, to be honest with you. But yeah, they say that this is going to be the biggest leap yet. It's going to be a huge deal. They don't really go into detail on any. Obviously, they're not going into any detail, but they want you as a gamer, as a consumer, as a customer of Xbox, or as a shareholder of Microsoft and Xbox. Xbox's future is bright. There's games coming. There's new consoles coming. Game Pass is a big deal. 34 million subs. That's a big deal. Status quo. Everything is status quo. We're fine. The machine is still running. And that's kind of my big takeaway of the entire event. I wouldn't even call it an event. It was again, pretty laid back and pretty straightforward. And I think that is probably the best thing that they could have done, right? Is just talk directly to us and say, hey, we're still good.